Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of GIS Answers. Today what we'll be looking at is the county of Lasalle in Illinois, and we have a viewer called Sue, and she was interested in seeing the Bigfoot sightings in this county. So what we'll be looking at is the BFRO database showing Bigfoot accounts, and we'll look through, flip back to the BFRO website, and we will review those sightings. We'll be using ArcGIS Pro and Esri desktop GIS software to view the geographic information, and we have the world topographic map on as the base map, and we've got Bigfoot sightings with the footprint, the black footprint and the white circle, and we've got USA parks, national parks and forests, state parks and forests, regional parks, county parks, and local parks. And I've got those labeled with the names. So we'll get right into this, and let's have a look and see what we find. So the red dashed line is the boundary, county boundary, and so this is LaSalle County that we're looking at. And there's a number of sightings. So around Marseille, that's the way I would pronounce it. Marseille, I'm not sure if that's the way it's pronounced in the United States, but that's the way I would pronounce it. So it's Marseille training area. There's a bee sighting. Bow hunter sees an animal resembling a gorilla near Marseille. November 2012, Class B sighting. I was bow hunting 20 feet up in an oak tree and could see a quarter mile in most directions. It was in the bottomlands of the Illinois River in the county. I heard a noise about 40 yards from me in the thicket. I figured it was a buck chasing a doe. A minute later, a large gorilla-looking creature appeared walking south to north at about 7 a.m. He was about 7 feet tall and was dark brown. He stayed within the thicket, but saw him clearly for 20 seconds or so. The land is rich farmland, full of deer, turkey, coyotes, raccoon, possum, etc. There is creeks and the river. I believe the creature came from the pines, very thick area, and was headed for the river. It never said a word, just kept moving. My son has heard sounds while hunting, but I have not. The witness estimates the weight at 400 pounds. The color of the hair was dark brown. The animal was broad-shouldered and about 7 feet tall. The animal walked slightly slumped over, unable to see the face as the animal never turned towards him. Wow, pretty cool. There's some of the water courses, the Illinois River, close by. Let's measure that distance. So yeah, within 2 kilometers or a mile and a half. And it looks like LaSalle Lake, similar distance, less than 2 miles. And then there's some ponds that are in this LaSalle, Marseille training area. So yeah, pretty cool. And there's some sightings not too far from this one. There's, yeah, kind of a cluster within 2 miles. Within 3 miles, there's another 2 sightings. This is classified as a Class B sighting, but really that should be a Class A because it was a visual sighting. That's my opinion anyway. But February 2011. Motorist has nighttime sighting near bridge just south of Seneca. There's Seneca, looks like a town, and on the other side of the river. Intersection of DuPont Road, County Highway 36 and Illinois Route 170, just south of the new bridge at Seneca. The location on the map is accurate. Now I work at night and I travel across the river road to Marseille, the next town to the west. The night of February 24th, at or around 3 a.m. while coming home, at the base of the new bridge to the south of the new intersection, while making my turn with my bright lights in my 4x4 GMC Yukon, I came around to the stop sign. I crossed the field at 50 yards at a semi-fast pace. A large humanoid subject was observed moving east of myself and another individual who was traveling on DuPont Road. The other driver stopped and asked me if I'd seen a bear running just then. And I responded that I didn't think it was a bear. He chuckled, made a Bigfoot reference, and drove off. No name, no idea who he may be. I figured it was time for me to report it, to maybe put some validity to the rumors and legends. It's just him, and it was at night, and the environment is wooded, brushy Illinois River. The witness is about 50 yards away from the animal. The animal was swinging its arms below its waist. The animal's height was between 8 and 8.5 feet, weighed over 500 pounds, shoulders were at least 3 feet wide. The animal was very thick in the chest. Color was rusty, reddish brown, sort of like an Irish setter. Though the witness was unable to see the face, he was able to see the eyes, reflecting yellowish gold when the animal looked at his headlights. There's another one within half a mile, just over half a mile away. There's another one. Let's have a look at that one. Another visual sighting. Campers have lengthy nighttime encounter near Seneca, July 1983. This is July 1983. It's on private land. Nearest town is Seneca. Nearest road is Illinois Route 6. The following phone interview was conducted by Stan Courtney on the 13th of June, 2005. Stan Courtney would be a BFRO investigator who looks into sightings. The witness does not have a computer or internet access, so the information was entered with his permission. The first names of the two witnesses have been changed. So John is the first one. Yeah, so anyway, this sighting is two guys were camping out in the woods. They cleared a patch of land to camp, 10 by 10 area. They both were armed, one with a 45 and one with a 22. One's called John and one's called Chad. And they had an animal at their campsite with a fireplace going, and basically they smelled an animal and they could hear an animal, and it was pacing around them back and forth. The smell was like a weird, funky, kind of musky smell, a bit like garbage and a bit like musk cologne, but it was a weird kind of smell. This went on for several hours back and forth. They actually didn't see the animal directly, but they could tell it was a big. They thought it was a big animal, Bigfoot. John claims that he got a visual as they got closer down to the road. It's strange that this one is an A and the other one is a Class B, because Class A's are visual sightings. Class B's are supporting evidence such as footprints and vocalizations and wood knocks. I would class this one more of a B. Let's go over. This is actually that's in another county. I believe, yeah, that's another county over there, but we can look into that later. Here's another cluster. Starved Rock State Park. Memory told of encounters on a farm near Ottawa, 1980 to 1999, so almost 20 years. So this is Lasalle County. Nearest town is Ottawa, Illinois Route 71. Just when you go over the bridge into Ottawa, take Route 71 to Starved Rock. After about 5 or more miles, you will turn off left a gravel road and a sign for Catlin Park. Take that road. And then up through to Deer Park School. In them timbers, you shouldn't have a problem finding him. From as long as I can remember, in Deer Park Township, about a mile from Catlin Park, just outside Illinois State Starved Rock Park, on my grandparents' land, who are now deceased, from the earliest I can remember, 1980 to 1999. It first started my younger cousin Tony, about age 5 then, came running in the door out there on the farm, screaming about a hairy monster eating a rabbit. Grandparents raised rabbits, and from time to time would find cages smashed, little furries ripped apart. Night was the scariest time. None of us youngsters would go outside. The timber was dark on them county roads, or country roads. We would all gather around and hear loud walking and branch breaking through the night. Grandma found them big footprints. Well, since Grandpa was an Indian, he says, leave it alone. Never bother the hairy beast or shoot at him. You'll anger him. Well, one night I had to go outside. I was about 10, maybe 12 at that time, to take food to the dog pen. All was quiet and dark, and sure did smell bad. On the way back to the house, just near the driveway, right before the door, I was stopped in my tracks. I was frozen with great fear. He smelled bad, and eyes were red and dark, and he was hairy. I didn't scream. I couldn't move. He stood there and looked at me, bent down, and stared right in my eyes. I shook, afraid to move. I whimpered. I can hear and feel the breathing and the smell. My grandma came to the door to see what was taking so long. She stood on the porch and gasped. He looked up and gracefully turned away and walked away. After that, no one was allowed out at night at all. But we would continue to hear him out there, and smell him, and see prints. And at times he would twist up and rip metal sheeting on the rabbit cages and other farm stuff. A human couldn't do that kind of twisting bare hand on rabbit cages and other farm stuff. A human couldn't even do that. I am now 36 and often walk the trails of Starved Rock close to my grandparents' old property in hopes to find him again. I had only saw him 2 more times before. Once when I was 13, out in the back timber by some cave, wading in the water, and once again at night when I was driving up the country road hill towards Catlin Park. I was about 25. He was crossing the road. Starved Rock has been his home for many years. Not many people talk about him out there. Guess they don't want to be bothered with reporters and people judging kind of folks. So if you're ever going to search for him, I think that would be a great place to look, and I would even be willing to show you a few spots. Okay, well, here's another one. This one's Class B down in Marjorie C. Carlson Nature Preserve. Fisherman recalls his possible nighttime sighting near Vermilionville, July 1985. So Vermilionville, Route 171 is the closest road. My friend said he was fishing at the Vermilion River, which is in the central Illinois and flows into the Illinois River. Anyway, he was leaving after dark in his truck, and his dog was running ahead of him on the dirt road, about 50 to 100 yards out. Anyway, he was leaving after dark in his truck, and his dog was running ahead of him on the dirt road about 50 to 100 yards out. When he turned the bend looking for his dog, he seen it and said it was huge. At that point, his dog beelined it straight to the truck and jumped in. I asked him if it was a bear, even though there were no bears around here. I also asked if he got out to see what it was, and he said he was so scared so badly that they turned the truck the opposite direction and got out as soon as possible. This river valley is remote with trees and of course no lights down there. The fact that he did not get out to see what it was surprised me because my friend is one of the biggest dudes, 6'7", 250 to 300 pounds. Another one, Pica has a daytime sighting in Buffalo Rock State Park. So this is on the Illinois River too, not far from each other. So, you're within 2 miles. There's quite a few good sightings in here around Ottawa. So that one, October 2014. Nearest town is Utica. The nearest road is Illinois Route 34D Bennett Road. I was standing on the frog effigy in a Buffalo Rock State Park in Utica, Illinois. I saw and heard the same Bigfoot everybody else describes, moving very fast and easily on the side of a steep embankment below the effigy towards the river. It made a crashing sound in the brush. I did not smell it or see its face. I only heard it and saw it from the side. Conditions clear, dry, calm, about midday. The environment, brushy trees on an embankment of the river. The witness described how the upright animal came out of the brush 50 feet ahead of the hiker, about 50 feet ahead of the hiker. The animal moved quickly along the edge of the woods and then headed back down the brush next to the river. The movement was described as sauntering, not running, as it moved 150 feet along the embankment. 7 foot tall, muscular, very muscular and wide shoulders. Coloring was dark brown to black. The animal had long arms. The witness did not see the face. All right, so we'll leave it there for now, but we might come back and have a few more sightings in this county. There might be a couple more anyway. Yeah, this is really good. Quite a cluster in Lasalle, Illinois, one of my favorite states. Thanks for watching, everybody.